I just want to point something out here because in a lot of the videos that I've seen, and even my own that I made about Tyla and how Black Americans were supporting Tyla, we were so happy. We were rooting for her. We wanted to see her win. And then she started to have some really questionable behaviors and not only ourselves, not only Black Americans, but other Americans started to also point it out that, you know what, she's acting very hoity-toity is what what I would say. She's acting bigger than her britches, or she's acting very entitled. She's acting very arrogant, and it's a turnoff. It's a big turnoff. We don't care if you have the voice of an angel. Your demeanor as a celebrity, as a star, you have to really tread lightly on your public persona, because it turns Americans off when they see that you are bossy, or you have questionable behavior about your staff and your team. We don't like that. No, we don't like that. And if you act entitled, or you're just not self-aware and you're not making the corrections, we're going to call you out about it. That's what makes America America. We're going to call you out about it. Are we perfect? No. And that's what makes us who we are as well. We've all had to learn these lessons along the way, and we're still trying to develop and trying to become the best we can be as people. Are we perfect? No. Do we have some people that are not self-aware here in the United States? Absolutely. But we're trying to get better about it by using social media to call people out about it. We'll call people out that's in a different country. If they come over here, or if we feel like their behaviors, their policies are unfair, if they are taking away from people's human rights, just like what's going on in Gaza right now, many Black Americans
been speaking very openly about
inhumane treatment that is happening on Gaza by Israel. It's unfair, it's unjust. So yeah, we're gonna call you out about it. Tyla, in some of these comments that I see, Black is beautiful. I commented to somebody that that exact thing, the same exact thing I just said. Black is beautiful. And a lot of the comments that I'm seeing is, oh, you guys are just jealous because she's mixed and she's got mixture in her. Let me tell you something. We got something here. It's unfortunate, but it is something that has followed us and has become a part of our culture. And that's called the one drop rule. It pretty much reverberates across social interpretations of what color is, what race is, what your identity is, your ethnicity here in the United States. It's called the one drop rule. And back during slavery, there were a lot of children that were produced from the masters of those plantations and the slave women. Okay, there was so many biracial children, and that means that you could have been biracial, triracial, very sick. This is like eugenics. This is like, this is really sick on how far they categorize people by race. And
this was based on GRAPE, because I can't use the real word. But if you understand what I'm saying, it's SA. That's what it is. Of Black female slaves that were not protected. They were used for reproduction purposes to create even more slaves. They had breeding farms But the abuse that happened between the slave master and the black woman slave was just as diabolical, because there were a majority of the time there was no relationship established between that master and that slave. It was just for business, or it was just for the convenience of him being able to look at this person as property. And because the law protected them, they can say that they can do whatever they wanted to with their property. And they didn't take in consideration the human being or the human beings.
Rule. So that means that if you had just one drop of black blood in you, you were still going to be considered a slave. And they broke it down, and it's so sadistic because they considered you could be a mulatto, which is two parents, biracial. You can be an octoroon. Like you're so many, I think like fifth or sixth grandparents or moved away from a black or African parent. I mean, it's like there was so many different terms. Then you also had in a certain region of the United States, like down where New Orleans is at, where they have all pretty much the largest community of free people of color in the United States during slavery. And you also had it broken down even further because before the Louisiana Purchase occurred, there was such an influx of French European men, white English European men, and then you had the Spanish. Those men, they had families with the black women down here. And because the intermixing continued to spread and it had gotten to such a large population, along with the natives that were also in that land, the indigenous people, they also intermixed with the black people that had been brought there for slavery, or some of them were brought in from Haiti. They were transported from Haiti. Many of them were black slaves that were brought from Haiti and before the Haitian Revolution. And so it created different communities there. And so it broke down even further.
In this region, you also had the mestizos. Those are the Hispanic Latin mixture with the Africans, the Haitian that came there, and with the indigenous native people of that land. That created another subsector. And it should have not been classified under these types of terms. It should have been just American citizens. But because the dynamics of who would be considered a slave and who would not be considered a slave, it was contingent upon what you were classified as. And with the Louisiana Purchase, it now expanded slavery into New Orleans in a new way that it had never been before. So now you may have had ancestry that would have considered you a free person of color, but with the expansion of the Louisiana Purchase, it now changed those dynamics. Sickening when you hear all of the categorizations of one's race. So there is no celebration in how this began with the one drop rule in the United States. And in fact, using the term colored here in the United States, and then saying that it's because I'm mixed, or I have admixture in me. I think that it sounds archaic to a lot of people here in the United States. And so if you're asking for the United States to listen to your music, support your music, your arts, whatever it may be, you have to be culturally sensitive here. All right. There's a lot of pain with the word colored. There's a lot of pain when people start talking about, oh, well, I'm mixed, and there's nothing to be ashamed about with being mixed. And all of these things intertwined leading up to Jim Crow. It's all racism, and even with Jim Crow, wanting to make sure that Black people were reminded that even though you are considered a free person of slavery, distincts you from me. That distincts you from getting advancements as a white person would be deemed to get it, and someone that is Black. So when you come to the United States and you say color, be careful. This is a great definition that connects the one drop rule and colored. The term colored was often used in conjunction with the one drop rule, particularly in historical context. It served as a broader term encompassing people of African descent, including those of mixed heritage, and was often used in legal and social classifications. The term colored was eventually replaced by Black in many contexts, but the legacy of the one drop rule and its impact on racial identity persists. Saying that, oh, she's colored and but I'm not Black. And then when you come to the United States, it's like, in a way, you're trying to use your mixed ancestry as an advantage or some type of advancement in your artistry. But then at the same time, you know that there's a negativity of being considered Black throughout the world, but you want to take the positive things and profit off of those positive things that come from being quote unquote Black. When you do that, because you have this mentality from in South Africa that your culture says that you are deemed unique and more special than indigenous African people. So you have this type of colorism in South Africa. That's what they're practicing. That's called colorism in South Africa. Now let's just call it for what it is. And if we really want to do a deep dive, there is a serious issue with colorism. Same types of issues that Black America has had to deal with over the centuries. South Africa is also practicing colorism, and they have had media to call it out. So Tyla's behavior is because she has been used to being given preferential treatment with the term colored and the advancements and privilege she receives because of that. Her admixture of being indigenous African, Asian, and having other parts of different ethnicities in her bloodline. And it's just what it is. And I think when she got to America, America started to recognize that she was practicing colorism and stating that she's colored and this is why I'm me no Black. Type of unchecked behavior when you leave out of your own community, your nation, and your own environment that protects that type of culture. Then you come into an environment that has a disdain for that, has been a victim of that, and you're asking for victims to buy into your identity and then to buy into the concept of your music and your artistry that you also prop up with your mixed ancestry. Here, you say, I'm not Black, but when we look at you, you look Black. Then you go back and forth with the Black American community and you say, well, why would I be considered Black when back home that's not what I am? I'm colored. Well, okay, we're using an archaic word. Please don't use the word colored here in the United States, because that's actually, that could be politically dangerous. We are trying to move away from the word colored because that had ties to civil rights issues. And we are trying to move away from the N-word as well. That also needs to be canceled out completely. Not only affects how people react to your music, but we're looking at it politically. It's more than just playing some beats, okay? It is political. We have to make sure that certain things stay in check for our survival. You're just going to come here, you want to profit, but see, we still live here.
Because unfortunately, one wrong move and you can get canceled. Because that's what it's looking like for Tyla. One wrong move in cultural insensitivity, it can get you canceled. And please, those that are Black, or you have Black in you, or you can look ambiguous, just like Zendaya. Zendaya makes sure she pronounces that she is a Black biracial. She loves her white mother just as much as she loves her Black father. Halle Berry is the same. Halle Berry's white mother, who had Halle with a Black father, told Halle when she was a young woman, she said, when she was a young child, she told her daughter, what you see in that mirror is the way the world is going to see. So what do you see, Halle? And Halle knew from that moment on, she was Black. Recognized that she has a white mom, of course. But she also recognizes her Black identity. Same thing with Alicia Keys. Same thing with Lena Horne, who was one of our beloved late Black actresses that came up in the 30s and the 40s. She was she helped with civil rights. She was one of the civil rights participants. She used her platform to fight for Black civil rights. All of these people who had white admixture into them, they understood the history and the people that were really behind them. It was the Black people that were behind them. Same thing with President Obama. A lot of people say, oh, well, President Obama had an African father. He had a white mother, a white American mother. So we look at President Obama as he is a Black American because one of his parents was American. He was born here in America. Like we too are, we have African blood. Same thing with us. But we were born here in America. Same thing with second generations who are African. Y'all are American now. Y'all are African American. We're Black American. But you was born here. But with Obama, he was born here. He had one American parent. Same thing with Kamala. The reason why she's considered a Black American is because Kamala had, yes, her father was West Indian. Her mom was Indian, but she was born here in America. So she is a Black Asian American. Kamala know who she is. Well, why do you think so many non-Black people were so adamant about not voting for her? It is because they know that she is a Black American. She's a Black Asian American. And you gotta understand the way things are done here in the United States, the same way things are done in the continent of Africa, in South Africa. Y'all have your way of doing things. We have our way of doing things. And I like the fact that our Black people are supportive of those that are biracial so that they feel a sense of community on both sides. and they're not shunned by both sides. They feel that support. They're proud of that support. And when they get to a certain point in their career, they tend to make sure that they make that acclamation, that they appreciate that their black side. They do. So don't get it twisted now. When you come over here, like Tyla did, she thought, see, now that I'm looking at it more, and by the comments that I'm seeing of people who are from that area that she's from in South Africa and also the continent of Africa, a lot of the comments that I'm seeing is she was supposed to get preferential treatment because of her complexion or because of the way she looks. What's wrong with being black mixed with black? There's a song that James Brown wrote decades ago with a black power revolution here in the United States. And it was called Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. I'm black and I'm proud. There's nothing wrong with being black. It's not wrong with being black and proud. Be proud of who you are. Some of these comments that I'm seeing are coming from African people. And see, this is the reason why we are relearning each other. We're relearning because, see, black Americans, we were looking up to Africans for a sense of pride. Our pride, our roots.
Well, let me know what you have to think about the comparisons and what AI was able to combine with the back history of colorism, one drop rule, also civil rights, Jim Crow. It's just amazing how all of these things intersect and it plays out even in entertainment. So let me know what you think. I'm going to make sure I try to follow you. If you put a comment, positive comment, I'm definitely going to try to follow you. I think that's how we need to help each other out. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.